Hi everybody, my name is Darby. Thanks for clicking on this video. Let's address the elephant in the room. It happened. I don't have brown hair anymore. Today I'm going to wrap up the books that I read in September and in October because I am in school and I didn't read a whole lot, so I thought it was easier just to combine the 2 months, which I think I will also do for November and December. That way I just have more books to talk about and think the video would be more interesting unless I talked about the like 4 or 5 books that I read. Yeah, I don't know how many books I read. Hang on. I read 7 books in 2 months plus 1 DNF. So we'll talk about all of those. My September TBR did not really go to plan. It kind of turned into whatever Libby gave me I would listen to in the morning. I don't think I really read anything. Like, there was only 1 book in here that I didn't listen to. Everything else I listened to and like followed along for both September and October because I kind of dipped off at the beginning of September and I've been running to catch up ever since with my schoolwork and everything, and I'm not doing so great this semester. It's a toss-up how well I'm actually gonna do at the end of this semester, but that's just a little life update and why I have not been uploading a whole lot of videos. That and I was too busy dyeing my hair. So the first book I finished in September, I gave 3 stars to. Not because it was like bad or anything. It wasn't a bad book. I just didn't really know what was going on. I read The Accidents Season by Moira Fowley Doyle, and I am very behind on catching on this train. Missed it when it first came out, but I did purchase the book, which is why I have the hard copy, and I wanted to read it forever ago, and I finally read it because I got the audiobook and I followed along while I was reading. And it's about this family who every October they go through the accident season, which means that there's more broken bones, more paper cuts. They wrap themselves in so many layers of clothing so that they don't hurt themselves, and then just kind of try their best to get through the month of October, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. And then they decide to do this Halloween party at the end of October, and all this crazy stuff happens, and there's a ghost, and it's very... I liked the visuals that they gave with the different characters and like all the different things that main character, I forget her name now, Kara, all the visuals Kara gives you, Kara, were very beautiful, but I just wasn't like the best book, you know? So 3 stars, which is fine. It was good. It wasn't terrible. The next book I finished, I got on audiobook originally, and then I decided to purchase a physical copy because I liked it so much, and the physical copy was like pretty cheap, so that was really nice. And that is Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chos. I'm totally saying that wrong and I am so sorry. And I even listened to the audiobook so they say her name properly. I can't get it. But this was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of Rick Riordan's presents, and I'm slowly gonna make my way through all of these, and I started with this one because I do have a liking for Indian culture and all their stuff, and I was like blown away. I loved learning about all of the gods and whatever they would tell me. I was like, I'm here for it. And I love Aru and Minnie and all of the characters. They're so good. Boo is like the best bird ever. Just saying. Anyways, premise behind this book. Aru Shah is what they call... She finds out she's Pandava. Pandava? I want to say it right. Pandava, and which means she's reincarnated from one of the original Pandava brothers, and she goes on this whole quest to find the sleeper who is putting people to sleep, and she's got to stop him before this certain time. And she goes with her Pandava sister Minnie, and as a Pandava they basically have a soul father who is a god, and her soul father is the god of lightning, thunder. The god of thunder. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I can't remember anybody else's name. But it's a great adventure. Amazing middle grade. I cannot wait to see where this is going. I've already read the 2nd book, but I read it in November, so we'll talk about it then. But I will read these as they come out because I'm in love so much. Like, please give me more. The next book I read was the one that I read, and I read it because I read the ebook. Wow, say read one more time. Jesus. The next book I read, I had ebook on Scribd, and it took me a while to read it, but it was The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I do want to purchase a physical copy of this, but I currently don't have money for that, so it will take me a bit to get it. But this book, oh my gosh, I think I talked about it in my September TBR. I know that I talked about it somewhere, I just can't remember. But basically it's about this town that's gray and sad. They have this tradition every year where they take the youngest baby in the town on this day and they give it to the witch in the forest, which is, they don't actually think it's going to witch, they think it's dying, but they're doing it to keep the town in sorrow. And what they don't know is that there is actually a witch going there and picking up these children, and she has no idea why they're leaving it there. She ends up keeping one girl by accident, and her name is Luna, and it kind of follows Luna and her whole story. I think that's all that I should give you because it's amazing and magical, and I gave it 5 stars. As you can see, I read a lot of middle grade as we talk about more books. The next book I DNF'd was Furthermore by Tahira Mafi. Now, I gave it like 1 star on Goodreads because I don't know how to DNF things, but so it looks like I've read more, but I haven't. I finished, there was like 15% of the way in. I wasn't that far in listening to it, and I didn't have anything against it. Nothing was wrong with it other than I was just not in the mood for that kind of story. It just wasn't what I was looking for when I started listening to it, and I listened to it I think 2 or 3 days, and I just tried to get into it and I couldn't, so maybe I'll return to it, we'll see. It's a mystery. The next book was recommended to me by a friend, but I already owned it because that's typically what happens. It is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lonnie Taylor. I gave this book 4 stars. I am very late to jump the gun on this universe. I have Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares, but I do not have the next 2 books in this series. I will get them. I will read them before I read the other 2. However, I liked this idea a lot. It was really amazing. I liked, what's her face? Can't remember anybody's name. Karu. I loved Karu. I loved that this was set in Prague for most of it. I loved the angel dude. Don't feel like looking through the book for his name. I liked the Chimera people. I liked everything. It was great. It just didn't like blow my mind because like the plot twist wasn't really a plot twist. I don't know. I kind of like predicted it. So that's why I didn't give it 5 stars. If it would have been, I don't know. I just knew kind of what was coming, so it was 4 stars. But I really, really enjoyed it, and I will continue because this world is like wild. So magic, flying, they use wishes to get things. Well, Karu uses wishes, and that's why her hair is blue. Follow suit, you know? Okay, the next book I read the audiobook, and then somebody saw that I liked it and they gave me almost all the books except for the first one, so I have the second book here, and it is Moon Called by Patricia Briggs, and this is the second book that comes after it, so you can like, it's this series. I will be reading this one very soon, but it's a kind of werewolf slash shifter. She's a coyote shifter, and there's vampires, and there's a bunch of pack problems, and my inner early Wattpad days came out and was like, I'm here for the werewolves. That's what I want in my life. So I'm reading it, and I have like the next 7 books or something. I think there's only like 2 that I'm missing that I got for free, so I was like, heck yeah, and they're not at all huge. Like, they're very tiny. I mean, I guess the writing is really tiny. But I will get to this one very soon, and I'm excited. It's not like crazy good. I gave it 4 stars, but I did enjoy it, and it was like a lot of nostalgia for me. So we'll see where it goes. The next book I read while writing notes and studying for midterm, because it was only 2 hours long, so it took me an hour to listen to it, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse novel, which was basically just like a novel version of the movie, and to be honest, it wasn't all that great. I gave it 3 stars. It basically just told you what happened in the movie, but it skipped some stuff like fight scenes and conversations and just weird little things here and there. And honestly, I prefer the movie. Just my opinion, the movie is shorter and it has more to it. So, I don't know. It was a weird experience. It just showed up in my Libby. I don't even remember like putting it on hold or anything, and I was like, okay, you don't have to read the book, just please watch the movie. It's much better, especially because the music in it is amazing. The next book I read was the October book club pick for my book club that I have with my friends. I did not read the September one because September was a really, really bad month for me, and I just didn't have time to sit down and read. Like, I needed to listen to stuff on the train in the morning, so, but I did listen to this one and read it at the same time, and it is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And then we watched the TV show one weekend. I was there for like a whole day and we just watched the whole thing, and it was terrifying. The book is about, it's like a little bit different. Most of you have probably seen the TV show, but the book, I'll tell you what happens for the most part, is 4 characters staying in the house. There's Luke, Dr. Montague, Eleanor, and Theodora. And they go stay there to see if there's anything weird with the house, see if anything happens, kind of thing. And it's mostly kind of from the point of view of Eleanor, and Eleanor kind of just goes crazy. Like, there's things like closing of doors and stuff like that, and there's one really creepy part when she's like awake holding hands, and that's the only creepy part. Everything else about it was like just her hysteria and her going crazy and losing her mind a little bit, so it wasn't really scary. TV show, on the other hand, if you have seen it, The Man with the Cane is terrifying, and everything about it was scary, and we were like, what is going on? Because this thing, it was just like some lady going crazy really in a house, because the house is a little weird. But in the TV show they didn't really talk about the house, they just actually made it scary. So I gave this one 3 stars, because like it was okay. The TV show, very scary. But those were all the books that I read in September and October. There wasn't a whole lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for your patience on my YouTube channel. I will try my best to upload this as soon as possible. And the other video that I had filmed way back at the beginning of September. But school comes first for me, so when I get my homework done, I will have this ready for you guys. I'll leave all my links in the description. Let me know what you guys have read recently that you really enjoyed. I have to say, out of all of these ones, probably my favorite one was Arusha. This was my favorite read of the whole entire month. The 2 months. That's my favorite one out of the 2 months, because I don't remember which one I read in September and which ones I read in October. I'm just mushing them all together. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!